once again, we are at the marketing strategy session, and I have the privilege of having Barry on with me, the man, the founder, and the foremost expert guru of the Gamechangers. He's written books. I was talking about his plaques in the back, the 2 Comma Club, which is a big deal. For those that don't know, just Google it. You'll see how much of a big deal it is. So when we're talking about marketing strategies with this man, we're not talking about theories that you've learned in college. We're talking about things that are applied to actually make revenue for business. So Barry, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
Good. And tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, you've had a lot of accomplishments, and I've listened to your podcast. I mean, you have a real good podcast, and you know, I've been looking at you. Even love your website. Website is something really, really nice. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'll probably take some ideas from it. So I started looking at it like, oh, I need to maybe redesign my site a little bit. But you know, the information and the flow of your site is great. I mean, you actually practice a lot of the things that you preach, and that's why I wanted to have you on the show.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so look, I run a company called the Gamechangers, which helps business owners to triple their profit and double their time off. And I guess I never really deemed myself a marketer. I remember many, many years ago, I was doing a lot of one-on-one coaching, and the way that I'd get clients would be to, I organized a joint venture with a company who I knew was working with a lot of my clients. They were a business coach at the time, but my focus is a lot more around the mindset and the performance psychology of business growth, not so much the strategies and tactics. And so they'd invite me to speak at their event, and I would go and just deliver a lot of value. I'd always walk away with 2 or 3 clients. And these clients back then, I think I was charging around $40,000 to $50,000 a year Australian for my services. And so it was a very profitable exercise for me. A few years later, we reached a point where I had this desire to help a lot more people than at the time. I think it was 15 or 16 clients that I was working with one-on-one. And so I decided that it was time to grow the business, and we started to invest in hiring marketers to help us out. And unfortunately, something that you probably know a lot about is that a lot of marketers are not very good at marketing any other business than marketing their own. And so we went through a number of different marketers, spent in excess of multiple 6 figures, and just couldn't find anyone that could generate us leads. And this was a bit concerning for us. And what I really realized is the difference between how you position yourself from a face-to-face perspective versus how you position yourself online. You can go to one of these events and you could be seen as being the expert, being on stage and sharing good content. Yet back then, this is what, 7, 8 years ago online, it was a very different story. And it wasn't until a few years later, my partner said to me, I think we need to be marketing ourselves. And I was like, oh, but like, we know psychology, we know buying patterns, but we don't know anything about this Facebook platform or Google or, building funnels or any of that sort of stuff. And she eventually, after a couple of years, convinced me that it was time we went down that path. And I'll never forget, we paid a guy about $25,000. He gave us an hour of his time and about 8 hours worth of content videos. And we sat there one weekend, we watched all the videos, and for 2.5 days straight, we put together our first funnel. So we put a funnel out on ClickFunnels, we wrote the email sequencing, we created the ebook, we put the ad copies together, and we launched our first ad. It was about midnight on a Sunday night. Okay. We went to bed eagerly. Midnight on a Sunday night, and we eagerly went to bed looking to await the morning to see if we had leads come in. And so sure enough, 8 a.m. we both got out of bed and ran down to the computer and turned it on, looked at our Facebook stats, and we had our first few leads coming through. And it was 3 days later, we made a sale for $25,000 that obviously completely paid the course.
Wow.
And we haven't looked back since. That was the start of something very, very profitable for us. And now obviously we teach all of our clients marketing strategies as well as sales and systemization and leadership mindset, all that sort of stuff as well. Because what we found is that, unless you as a business owner really knows how to craft a compelling offer and understand the niche, it's very hard to get somebody else to run ads for you.
Okay. That makes sense. So if you don't know what to tell them to write or to craft, if you don't have the vision and you can't articulate it to the person that's helping you to put it together, then it's hard for them to put it together for you.
Yeah. There's an interesting thing that we found back then is there's this notion around sell people what they want and give them what they need. You know, back then we were trying to sell a lot of mindset and performance psychology stuff, because that's what we'll notice was making the biggest difference in our clients' lives, is not so much teaching the marketing or sales or systemization, but teaching them the mindset. Yet
Okay.
people weren't buying that. People weren't, like, they knew that it was important, but what they were buying is like how to generate more leads, or how to increase their sales conversions, or how to systemize their business, or how to hire staff. That's the stuff that they believed they needed, where in
Yeah.
actual fact, it was the mindset shift they needed the most to see their businesses grow.
Oh, so this was prior to the secret. Because after the secret, then everybody started getting into the mindsets of this and mindsets of that. But, you know, a lot of times, and you're right, when it comes to marketing, everybody looks at tactics and they say, oh, I need to Facebook ads, I need to spend X amount of dollars and have X amount of ads and so forth. But the whole psychology behind it is something that really is not focused on, because I think, you know, like they say, that's the hard work. That's the
Yeah.
real meat of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like really, when you look at it, advertising hasn't changed in 100 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's still the same psychology behind positioning an offer, and finding a niche. And yet the difference is that we're lucky enough now, we have platforms like Facebook or Instagram where we can go and put an offer out, and within 24 hours, we can understand whether the market's responding to it or not. And the
Okay.
beauty of that is you can take those same strategies, and once you get an ad that's converting very, very well, you can put it back into digital marketing forms, whether it be print media, whether it be billboards, whether it be, you know, direct mail outs. Whereas back in the day, people would, you know, craft this offer. They would send 10,000 mail outs and hope the phone started ringing. There was no way of testing that rather than actually doing the work and investing money. Whereas now, you know, we could do all that testing on Facebook, which saves a lot of money, a lot of resources. And then
Yeah.
once you have an offer that's compelling, you know, use traditional marketing methods like direct mail out, because, you know, people's mailboxes are empty these days. Their inboxes are full, but their mailboxes are empty.
That's true. That's true. Going back to the direct mail days, I mean, now if you get a nice, you know, letter or postcard, you'll look at it more now than you would have 5 years ago. 5 years ago, you wouldn't even have read the headline on it. You just tossed it, because there was so many coming in. So that makes sense. And now emails, everybody's putting it on snooze, read later, or just delete.
Yeah.
So makes big sense. So, like, when you were making that mind shift, basically, you know, I mean, I know there was a lot of nights you were tossing and turning. I mean, I've done my share of tossing and turning. Your mind's always still programmed to think task. I need to do this, this, and this tomorrow, and so forth. What were some of the things that you did to help you get over that and say, wait a minute, I need to think of this different, instead of building this task list and checking off the box tomorrow? I need to reprogram myself to look at this completely different, and this is how I should look at it.
Yeah. It's a good question. I guess I'll answer it in a different way. And that is that, you know, in all the time that I've been in business, and the hundreds of clients we've worked with, and the thousands of hours that I've coached or my team's coached, the one thing that I've noticed is that, you know, the hustle and grind will get you to the $1 million mark, right? Like being willing to just take a lot of action, not think about it too much, not worry about making mistakes, because you're going to make a lot of mistakes. We'll get you to the $1 million mark. Yet those same behaviors and characteristics won't get you to 10 million, right?
Okay.
Hustle won't get you to $10 million. It's almost the opposite, because, you know, the journey from 1 or 1.2 million to 10 million is more around leverage. How can you leverage your time? How can you leverage your money? How can you leverage your resources? How can you find fulfillment outside the daily hustle through building your
Okay.
team and building leadership? And so I guess for me, Jeff, is that now I spend a lot more time thinking and sitting with the problems or the challenges, the vision or where I want to go to the company, than actually taking action. And what that allows me to do is, when I go to take action, the action I'm taking is able to be a lot easier, a lot less time consuming, and more specific to the outcome that I'm taking. Whereas in the earlier days, I was just doing everything. Like I was, you know, trying to do 100 things to fix one problem. And then when the problem was fixed, didn't know which thing that I did actually fix that problem.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so what does happen when you do that one Facebook ad that works, let's say, and now you got all this traffic coming in, but you haven't thought through the whole process, and now
Yeah.
they've just come in. So
Yeah. We've had one of our funnels has been running consistently for 3 years, and we haven't changed the ad copy. Like 3 years, the
wow.
same funnel, the same ads, it's still converting, hundreds of leads every week for us, because at the time we spent so long getting the offer right. Like we spent days positioning the offer to the audience to get that funnel to where it is. But the work we did back then has now saved us. Whereas other people, they're spending hours every single week rewriting ad copy or changing images or tweaking their funnels.
Yeah. Wow. So, like in every episode, we want to have this big takeaway, because listening to the information is great, but if you were to give, like, let's say one person that's a friend, you're sitting at the bar, you're sitting at the dinner table, and they're like, what's one thing that you want me to do today that can change my business, transform my business? What would be that one exercise you would say, just do this?
Yeah. So I'll share something, and I'll share how it can be applicable to both the online and the offline medium. And that is the what I'd call the competition funnel, right? So let's just say that you're a gym owner and you want to sell more gym memberships. Mm-hmm. The easiest way to sell more gym memberships is to find people that want more gym memberships. And so an offline example of that would be to run a competition where you're offering to give away 12 months worth of gym membership, including PT sessions, maybe meal plans, maybe even some clothing and things like that. And craft a small offer, put a business card or put a small box at the counter of a shop where those types of people shop. So let's just say it's a nutrition place, or let's just say it's a greengrocer, and have people put their business cards in or put a form in for that competition, right? And say that, hey, we're going to draw this grand prize worth $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever it is. Now, that people that are putting their details in that box are people that want to win the prize. Therefore, they're people that are wanting the gym membership, right? So you can draw the prize out, give that away. The cost of the prize is your spend on advertising. And then everyone else in that box, you can ring up and say, hey, unfortunately didn't win, but we're going to offer you a second place drawer, which is 25% off your annual gym membership or your first month free. So you're selling something to people that already want it. And that same strategy can be applied online through a competition funnel using Messenger bot. So we've done a number of things with our clients where a client of ours had a motorcycle shop, and they gave away, thousands of dollars worth of motorcycle gear, helmets and gloves and, services and stuff. You see the small audience and pay for some advertising, but the way that they have to enter, in order for them to get an entry, they've got to tag someone else in the post and share it. And so what happens when you do it online is there's a huge amount of virality. You spend a small amount of money to put it out in front of an audience, but your audience ends up selling it for you because they want to win. And in order to win, they've got to tag a friend in and they've got to share it around. Anyone that's putting their details into that competition are people that want motorcycle gear. So you can draw the major prizes and call everyone else up and say, hey, unfortunately didn't win, but we want to offer you a second chance draw, which is, a 25% voucher or a 50% voucher for this month only. And it's a very good way of getting a huge amount of traffic that want what you've got.
Wow, that's a great strategy. Yeah. And that doesn't take a lot to do. Once you get the offer, once you understand the audience and understand the offer. So, okay, guys, that's your takeaway for today. Put together you a good giveaway, and put together a funnel, collect the leads, or put together the fishbowl in if you're a brick and mortar, and start gathering people that want your business versus trying to convince people that don't want your business to want your business. So that makes a whole lot of sense. So Barry, I thank you so much for that, your time and your insight. It definitely opened my eyes, and maybe I'll get some rest tonight. I'll get more rest than usual. Stop thinking about so many tasks and start thinking through the entire process before actually launching. And that makes much sense, because a lot of times we get overwhelmed with just to-dos. So I thank you again. Your time is definitely valuable, and your knowledge, and we appreciate you sharing this with us. If anyone wants to take this strategy to another level, you can contact Barry. He's at the Gamechangers. It's the gamechangers.com.au, correct?
Correct. Yep. The gamechangers.com.au.
Remember .au, y'all, .au, because if you don't, yes, it's thegamechangers.com.au. If you want to take this to another level, be sure to reach out to him. He has a great funnel. If you want, he's giving away a lot of stuff. He doesn't give away one item. He actually gives away 3 things on his site. And you can subscribe to get 3 things on his site that he gives away, and that's a lot of information. One's an actual blueprint that you definitely want to look at. If you're really serious about growing your business, I would encourage you to go to his site, look at it, get the information, reach out to him, and take your business to the next level. So this has been the marketing strategy session. Once again, thanks, Barry. And once again,
Thanks,
everyone that came to listen, thank you too.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, guys.